Hello and welcome to my Tarot Corner. So I'm going to start with another update on what is going on in Israel. There is a timestamp in the description box for those who are not interested, and you can jump right forward to the reading. On Tuesday, after one of the fiercest nights of the demonstrations here, the leaders of the protest declared that they are starting a march towards Israel, and they are going to do a democracy walk towards Jerusalem. Towards Jerusalem. And every day since, they started with a few hundreds of people that started the walk. Today, they are 30,000 people that are already walking towards Jerusalem. It's terribly hot here. We have a horrible heat wave. It is 35 to 40 degrees outside, and despite everything, they are walking every day, early in the morning and late at night. And during the hottest hours in the day, they are resting in shady places, and people are going there and bringing them food and water, and people are going there with their children. And I wanted to go there last night. I couldn't find someone that could take me there. I cannot drive all the way there. I hope that I will be able to go there tomorrow evening. Tomorrow evening they will be arriving to Jerusalem, and there will be a huge demonstration in front of the parliament, our Knesset, because on Sunday morning the deliberation towards passing the first dictatorship law is going to start, and they mean to pass it on Monday. Now, whether or not I will be going tomorrow, I already notified the clinic that on Sunday I'm not working. On Sunday I will be going to Jerusalem with other doctors groups to join the doctors' protests in Jerusalem. Many doctors are participating in the protests, and most of us are saying that we refuse to be like the doctors in Nazi Germany that in 1933 wanted to care for their patients, wanted to care for their own families. So they were silenced, and they thought that it will pass. But then 6 months later, they just couldn't talk, and they were afraid to talk. And then they let things happen, and sometimes they even joined the Nazi party because they didn't have a choice. But you always have a choice. And we are exercising our choice, and we will not be silenced, especially when we hear more and more voices of racism. Just for one example, the government wants to pass a law that gives more a raise for teachers who teach in the Hasidic schools, but not teachers that teach in other schools. The previous government took out a big program in order to advance the Arab communities here in Israel. These communities were neglected for years in Israel, and there is a terrible violence there. Only from the beginning of this year, over 130 people were murdered in Israel, in the Arab community. One of them was a dentist that was shot dead in the entrance of his home in front of his small children, and many others. It's horrible, the violence, and the police is helpless, and the minister of the police, who is a very racist minister, doesn't care, because he only cares about religious Jews. So now the government wants to pass a law that will abolish this program, and they don't want to give any money to any advancement in the Arab communities. So the racist laws are already being promoted. They haven't been passed yet, but they are already being promoted. And the breakup in the Israeli community is horrible. The rift is terrible. And after all of that, and hundreds of thousands of people are going out in the streets, our Prime Minister comes to talk to the people last night in front of every news outlet without taking any questions, and lies to everyone and tells us all that there is no fear of hurting the democracy, that this law will enforce the democracy, which is a blatant lie. He tells lies like saying that we are violent, but this is the most unviolent protest that was ever in Israel. Just for a comparison, when 20 years ago there was this. We left the Gaza Strip, and because we left the Gaza Strip, we demolished quite a few settlements that were in Gaza Strip. And a lot of Israelis that were against that fought against that. When they did that, at least 8 policemen were hospitalized because they did that. They spilled acid at soldiers. They tried to bomb places. They used severe violence. In our protests, since the beginning of the year, it's 7 months, there was no policeman that was hurt. Nothing was demolished. Nothing was burned, nothing was hurt, nothing was destroyed. There is no violence from our part. The only violence that you can see in our demonstrations is violence that comes from the policemen against our protests. And this violence is increasing and increasing. And our Prime Minister stands in front of entire people of Israel and lies and tells the world that we are violent. And a blatant lie, he tells the world that we blocked the way of ambulances on the way for hospitals. Now this is such a lie that I just couldn't, because the only ambulance that was late because that was blocked, I saw it because I was there. It was blocked because a police car was blocking the way, and despite the fact that the ambulance was there trying to move, no one from the police came to move the police car. So that was the only occurrence of an ambulance that didn't arrive in time. Every time that there was an ambulance that tried to to pass when demonstrators were on the road. The demonstrators just split and let the ambulance pass. When I was in demonstrations and there were people on the road and someone came and said, there is a woman here that needs to get back to her children ASAP, we just cleared the road for her. There was never any attempt to disrupt the lives of people. But sometimes protest is not nice. It's not comfortable. And Netanyahu should understand that now we are nice, now we are still not violent, still very much trying to be, well, peaceful, but I don't know what will happen if that law does pass. So, I will try to do 2 readings today because I don't know what will happen tomorrow, and Sunday, Monday, I will probably be in Jerusalem. But I will keep you updated when I can. So this is the update on Israel. So this reading is for Dan Wootton. And it is a request from one of my old subscribers. And I suppose you all know that Dan Wootton is going through a ferocious attack on his integrity, on everything that he stands for. And many people think that Harry and Meghan are behind this. I saw a video by Lady C, I think it was a week ago. She told she talked there about an occurrence that one of Dan Wootton's ex-boyfriends that stayed in his home while Dan Wootton was away. And he conducted a search in his home. He found a briefcase hidden behind a washing machine, and he was vile enough to take out that briefcase, and despite the fact that it was locked, to break into it and find a hard drive, and on that hard drive he found all sorts of information. I don't know what exactly, but he decided to come out with this information now. So I suppose it's damning information, and I'm not sure who are the people that enticed him to do that, whether it was his idea to approach those people, or was it someone who approached him, but someone who knew about it contacted him and persuaded him to come out with this. And there was another article that claimed that Dan Wootton was a bully while he was an editor on the Sun newspaper, claiming that he has false Twitter accounts, that he is trying to persuade people to deliver incriminating sexual information about people. So all sorts of illegal things that he's been doing. And it seems like a coordinated attack on Dan Wootton's integrity, on his reputation. So I'm going to look into Dan Wootton's enemies and who are they, whether it is coming from Harry and Meghan or whether it is coming from other people. I'm using the Universal Celtic Tarot, and it is only one of the many Celtic tarots that there are out there. And I think that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 decks that are called Celtic Tarot in this or that variations. So this is the first one. Okay, so let's start by saying my disclaimer. This is a tarot reading. It is vibrational. It is open to interpretation. It exists as assumptions and speculation, and as such may or may not be true, so please do your own research and decide for yourselves. Okay, so let's clear the deck. And as always, as I've been doing lately, I'm starting with a spread, and if need be, I will clarify a card with extra cards as well. So, who is attacking Dan Wootton? What is the danger that he is facing? Who are his allies? This was the Seven of Swords in reverse. Now, the Seven of Swords is a card of strategy and planning. And when it is in the reverse, it is a card of, manipulation. It's a card of conniving. But just remember that, and let's put it back in the deck and go on. So, what is the danger that Dan Wootton is facing? Who are his allies? Who are his adversaries? Who are his main enemies? And what kind of advice can we give him? What kind of solutions he can use? What is the gossip that is used against him? Is he denying some things, or can he deny? And this is the Five of Cups that came out. This is in the upright. Five of Cups is a card of despair. Usually it is an unjustified despair, because there are 3 cups that are spilled and 2 that are upright. Here, this person does have all 5 cups are upright. So this is not a very much desperate card, as you can see. And this man here, he is looking backwards at his 5 cups. So it looks like he doesn't know that he has the 5 cups that are upright. He is aware that he has full cups, and he is walking away from them. So it's interesting to note that as well. So let's go on. So who is attacking Dan Wootton? What is the danger in front of him? Who are his allies? What is the gossip that he's facing? What are the solutions he can use? What is the advice that we can give him, and what will be the outcome? And are Harry and Meghan the ones who are behind the attack on Dan Wootton? Okay, another card popped, and this is the Ace of Cups in reverse. Ace of Cups is about flow and renewal in the material world. This is a card of feelings, of emotions. It's about being able to realize the emotions. When it is in the reverse, there is lack of emotions. There is no ability to get that renewal, to get that flow of emotions. So it is also interesting to note. Okay, so one more shuffle just to get the cards in the right way, and then cut the deck. So the first card is a card that shows us the danger. So this is a general card of the danger. It does not specify the enemies. And the danger is the... And the Knight of Swords is a card of the spoiled kid. So it's interesting because the spoiled kid is someone who wants things done for him. So the danger is represented by some people that are not doing things by themselves, people that are looking for other people doing the work for them. So if we're asking if Harry and Meghan are behind the attack of that on Dan Wootton, this could very much be the answer, because Harry and Meghan are not doing that by themselves. They are getting other people to do the work for them. This is exactly what the Knight of Swords represents. Usually the Knight of Swords is a person that loses opportunities because he's not doing the work by himself. But if we're looking here at the Knight of Swords, he is not on riding a horse. He's riding this big, well, I'm not sure how to call this animal. Buffalo, I think. This is not a very swift, very swift animal like a horse. This is not an easy maneuvering animal like a horse. This is not a quick animal. So this is not an attack that can be made quickly, or can be coordinated as something that is, you know what I mean, because this is a heavy animal. This is something that is not going very quickly, very swiftly. This is not like the Knight of Swords that we are used to see. So this is not a person that is really, really very able to do something quickly and swiftly. But this, once again, this is a person that loses opportunities because of not doing things by himself. One more aspect of the Knight of Swords, when it is representing something bad as the danger, it is a person who has the tendency to ruin things that he has built, someone who has difficulty to execute the things that he wants to execute, someone who is passive, and someone who abstains from doing things. So the danger is represented by people that are letting others do the work for them and looking for others to do that. Okay, so who are those people? And this is the next card, and the next card is the Eight of Wands. So this is interesting because it's a contradiction to the Knight of Swords, because the Eight of Wands is about speed and velocity. So it is about people that are trying to do things swiftly and quickly. It is about getting out of the comfort zone. It is about doing things quickly, but it is badly aspected because we're talking about an enemy. So it is about acting too fast. It's about making mistakes. It's about people that are reckless and are having difficulty with adjustments and difficulty with coping with pressure, people that are jealous, people that are quarreling with others all the time. So this represents the actual enemies that Dan Wootton has. Okay, so now let's be more specific. Are Harry and Meghan behind the enemies that are attacking Dan Wootton? And the answer is a Justice. Okay, so Justice is a major arcana, and since it is a major arcana, it is we need to look at the message. Now, since Justice is about not only deciding who is right and who is wrong, it's not only about just, it's about also cutting out whatever is not helping you in your life's pathway and deciding to cut it out, to to be very swift, to be very cold-heartedly, cut it out from your life. This is a yes answer to this question, because we are looking at, especially Meghan, looking at the people that are disturbing her, people that are not helping her, people that she needs out of her life, people that she needs out of her pathway, because she wants to go forward, she wants to go to politics, she wants to do a lot of things, and people like Dan Wootton are there disturbing her. So this is a yes answer. Now, I've been getting the justice card for Meghan a lot lately, even in relation to Harry, because she's executing the justice card quite a lot, because she is very cold-heartedly looking at the things that are not helping her in her mission, in achieving her goals, and she's just very totally cutting them out. So this is a yes answer to the question if Harry and Meghan are behind that, especially Meghan, because this is a woman here. Okay, so this is the people that are behind this. So Harry and Meghan are maybe not solely behind this, but they are one of the main enemies of Dan Wootton. Okay, who are Dan Wootton's allies? Who are there to help them, to help him? And we get the Queen of Wands, and this is interesting. Now, I wonder if what is Lady C's sign? Let me just check out. Yeah, my intuition was right. Lady C was born on August 17th, so she's a Leo. And the Queen of Wands is a Leo, and we have here a big fight between two Queen of Wands. One is Meghan, and the other is Lady C. And Lady C supports Dan Wootton, and Lady C is the Queen of Wands, who is there as Dan Wootton's ally. So this is a very big fight between two Queen of Wands. And remember that when we get a Queen of Wands, Lady C is a Queen of Wands. She is a Leo sign. So it's not only Meghan, it's also Lady C. Interesting. Okay, so what is the gossip, main gossip there that exists that can hurt Dan Wootton? And what we're getting here is the Knight of Wands. Okay, so that is another interesting thing here, because the Knight of Wands is the aloof knight. So the aloof knight is the knight that is not excited about things, is the one that misses opportunities because he keeps on looking for things that will excite him. And here the gossip is about that probably Dan Wootton looking for things that will excite him, maybe looking for things that will be more interesting for him, maybe some things that can be scrutinized that he is interested in, but it is about things that he is interested in. This is what the Knight of Wands is about. The Knight of Wands is a person that can be self-destructive when his interests are, not something that is acceptable. Because sometimes he is impulsive, sometimes he is impatient, sometimes he is reckless and restless. And I think that this is the main gossip about Dan Wootton. Remember, they are saying that he is a bully. And I think that this is what they are trying to claim. They will try to say that he is impulsive, that he is reckless, and that he is his interests are things that are not acceptable. I'm not sure that it's true, but this is the gossip. Remember, this is not the truth. So is there a grain of truth in the gossip? And let's see what we get. And the answer is the Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords is about being a warrior for the world. This is about a woman who cares, or an archetype of a person who cares for the good of everything. Someone that has social responsibility, someone who will sacrifice herself and her relationships and everything for the good of the world, for climate change, for everything that for social things, for everything that is not connected to her. So when we're asking on whether or not there is a grain of truth in the gossip that tries to claim that Dan Wootton is a person that is trying to pursue his own self-interests. This is like the two contradictions. Usually the Queen of Swords is the contradiction of the Queen of Wands. That's fire and air energy. That is contradiction, as you can see here, the main contradiction between them. But there is also a contradiction between the Knight of Wands and the Queen of Swords, because the Knight of Wands is also a fire energy. So this is a person that will pursue his own interests, things that he cares about, things that he wants, and they are trying to claim that he is pursuing his own vile interests. And here, the Queen of Swords is a person that will pursue things that are global interests, not things that are important for her own benefit. So this is a no answer for this question. There is no grain of truth in this gossip. Okay. So, what is the denial? How can Dan Wootton deny this whole gossip that is being thrown in his way? And what we're getting here is the Six of Pentacles. Okay, so the Six of Pentacles is a card that speaks about giving and receiving. It's about what you get is what you give is what you receive. So you deserve what you give. If you are generous, if you give to the world, if you give to the society, then you will get back. So I think that mostly what the denial needs to be, you need to judge me by what I do. Look at the things that I do. Look at the things that I give to the world, to the things that I give to society, and then decide whether or not I deserve this scrutiny. So this is mostly about judging a person by his own deeds, judging a person by the things that he is giving, and not by rumors and gossip that is spread by others. So this is the main denial that Dan Wootton can use. Don't judge me by what other people do or say. Judge me by the things that I do, by the things that I say, by the things that I give, but what I give to society. This is the things that you need to look into. So, but this is also a card of second chances. So it is a card that shows us a person who is generous, a person that gives to others, a person that deserves a second chance. Okay, so what are others unknown solutions that Dan Wootton can use? And what we're getting here is the Five of Swords. Okay, so the Five of Swords is a general answer because all it says is to get off the fence and start doing something. So it's a general answer because the main message of this card is no matter what you do, it's better than doing nothing. Don't sit on the fence. Don't wait for the things to blow away because it won't blow away. Just do something. Whatever you do, it's better than not doing anything. So this is the general advice here. So let's try to be more specific. So let's try and take a card that will clarify it. And what we're getting here is the Page of Wands. And the Page of Wands, it's another fire card, and it is telling Dan Wootton to try and find more and more things that he can cling into. So the Page of Wands is, as you remember that I'm always telling you, he's the one that jumps from one bandwagon to another bandwagon. But in this instance, it's about trying to find more and more interesting ways to deny or to refute the allegations against him. So it is about using this, and it's interesting because it's about using two energies that are opposing one another, the air energy and the fire energy. Interesting. Okay. Next card is the advice card, and the advice card is the Five of Pentacles. And this is a very, very necessary advice for Dan Wootton, because this card is telling him to be very careful, because the Five of Pentacles is a card of destruction and failure that is known in advance. And it is about being if you are being defensive, if you are being too defensive, and if you are acting out of the self-defense and not lashing forward, if you are sitting on the fence and waiting for things to pass and you're not charging forward, if you are acting out of self-defense and you are not attacking, if you're not moving forward with new ideas, then you will end up in the Five of Pentacles energy, which is destruction and failure that is known in advance. So this is something that he needs to understand. He cannot wait it out. He cannot just wait for things to pass. He needs to do something. He needs to not to wait, not to act out of self-defense, not to wait for things to move forward. He needs to charge forward and be very careful of betrayal, and be very careful of people that might try to destroy him, because this is looming. He might get destroyed like other people in the industry were destroyed lately. Philip Schofield, I understand that there was another one, Hugh Edwards. So he needs to understand that this can happen. So he needs to charge forward. He needs to use what he can in order to fight this. He cannot stay with it. So let's just try and clarify the advice card. What more can we get? What more advice can we give him? And we get the Six of Wands. So the Six of Wands is exactly the opposite, because the Six of Wands is the victory card. So once again, this card is telling him, if you don't act out of self-defense, if you are not just defending yourself, if you are charging forward, if you are attacking and not only being defensive, then you will reach that Six of Wands energy. You will reach that victory. So it's important not to be over defensive, not to feel that you are only threatened and be only defensive. It's important to charge forward. Let's see what will be the final outcome. And the final outcome is strength. And strength, that is about control. It's about gaining control from within. And this is the best outcome that I can just think of, because it's not only a spiritual card. It is a spiritual card with a very earthly element. It's not only about getting control spiritually, it's about getting control over everything. So it's about being able to control yourself spiritually and physically. It's about being able to control the narrative. It's about being there in strength, confidence, serenity, courage, faith, self-confidence, control, everything that you can just think of, being strong. So this is the outcome. And I just want to show you one thing. With all of these cards, there is one element missing, and that is cups. No cups, no emotions. There are no emotions involved in here. And except the cups that fell out of the deck while I was shuffling, there are no emotions here. Interesting, isn't it? So it's all about shrewdness. It's all about fire, and it's about fire energy. It's about earthly energy, which is the pentacles. It's about spiritual energy, which is the major arcanas, and it's about shrewdness, thinking, air energy. So there is no emotions here. So it's not emotional. And Dan Wootton needs to understand this. This attack is not emotional. This attack is a coordinated attack that is coming from the mind. It's coming from the thought of people that want to hurt him. It's not coming from emotions, and everything that is involved with it is is thought and fire, ingenuity and ability to manifest. So these are the things that are involved in here, and no emotions here. And Dan Wootton needs to understand that he cannot not involve his emotions as well, because once he involves his emotions, then he will be in this a stage of feeling that he is that he's weak, that he cannot deal with it, and then he might get to this destruction and failure stage. Okay, so the first mini gypsy deck is the Zingara PITANIKL gypsy deck. Okay, it's called Gypsy Fortune Telling Cards. So it's also another one of these oracles that have very much like the Vera Sibila, very easy to use. So let's see what we get from this oracle about Dan Wootton and the attack on Dan Wootton. So clearing the deck. And asking Dan Wootton and the attack on him. Dan Wootton and the attack on him. Dan Wootton and the attack on him. Okay, so let's cut the deck and see what we get. Okay, visit. And the visit card has many probable interpretation, but it's mostly about relationships. It's mostly about well, it's about relationship between people. It's about meetings between people. So it is connected with a meeting. It is connected with a visit. So this is what the Gypsy cards want to tell us about it. Not very impressed by this, but this is one thing. Okay, the fairy guidance oracle, and this is guidance for Dan Wootton. Let's see what they have to tell him, the fairies. So let's start by cutting the deck. Sorry. Shuffling. Clearing the deck. And asking. So, guidance for Dan Wootton. Guidance for Dan Wootton. Guidance for Dan Wootton. Okay, choice. You're in control of the choices set before you. Okay, so there is an extensive message for this card, and this book actually is thicker than the deck itself, but I'm not going to read it all, but the main message here is that it is up to Dan to choose how he acts and what he says and what he does. And though it may not be clear, he has endless choices before him. And if he sets a goal and he is in control of the choices before him, like the strength card showed us, he can reach his desired destination. And that is why the Five of Pentacles came here, to warn him that he needs to make the right choices. Okay, the last oracle that I'm using is actually a very unique one. I never knew, but it existed. I actually I was offered it by one of the sellers on eBay when I bought another oracle, and it's called Graven Images Oracles, and it comes from the cemeteries and from headstones. And it is really interesting, and I'm going to try and use this for Dan Wootton's enemies. So let's see what message can we convey for Dan Wootton's enemies. Okay, so let's clear the deck once again. One moment. Okay, let's see. Dan Wootton enemies. Dan Wootton enemies. Okay, so the card image is conformity. What it says here is sacred. Let's see what the message is. Okay, listen to this. Despite the urging of their heart and conscience, they are following the party lines. This card of uniformity, the loss of identity. The safe passage is followed in lieu of the more difficult path of innovation and ingenuity. In common parlance, you are selling out. This may also be a card of those who have allowed themselves to be trapped in static hierarchies, a stringent pecking order in which their status can never change. Remove the lid of the box and think outside its limitation while you still can. Okay, so this card actually can be a very good card for what is happening in Israel, but it is also a very good card to describe Harry, for example, as someone who is following what his wife is telling him without asking, as some other people that are being told what to do and are following, conforming, despite what their heart is saying to them, what their conscience is telling them. So many of those enemies are people that are doing things even though they know they are wrong. So not all of those people that are in cahoots with this attack are are people that know that are, let's say, psychopath. But some of them know that this is the wrong thing to do, but they conform, and they conform probably because they are afraid. So it's interesting to see that this is part of the reason that people follow whoever decided to orchestrate this attack, most probably Meghan. Okay, so this is it for this reading. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.